Hi, everybody. Welcome to MJ Comix. I'm your host, James Mack. And tonight I am joined by a very special guest. He's a Brummie from Down Under. It's Dave from Still Only 35 Cents. Welcome, Dave, to the channel. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure to be here and great to talk to one of my fellow Midlanders.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so funny because, I think I want to say I first became aware of your channel. You were doing a live stream before or during a con. I want to say it was either San Diego or it was Heroes Con last year. When it was sometime last year, and I was listening. I thought this guy's English. He sounds like he's from Birmingham. And then when I found out you living in Australia, I thought, oh, when sometimes when I went to LA, people thought I was Australian.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it's that effect, but no. To find out you're actually from my neck of the woods is insane to me.
It's pretty crazy. I must admit, when I first found your channel, and similarly, I was like, oh, it's nice to hear a lilting tone that I'm used to, because all my family sound exactly like yourself.
Oh, do they? Oh, yeah. See, it's one of those things where the people I work with, they say oh, you sound really Brummy, but I don't think that I do in comparison to other people that I know who like,
yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. It's you don't know. It's you probably sound more like you come from, and only Midlanders will get this joke. You sound like you come from Solihull.
What have you just said?
Apologies to anyone who doesn't understand that joke.
Yeah, apologies, but no, it's not far off. To be fair, but yeah, no, appreciate you coming on, buddy. I've wanted to. You've been on the list of mine to come on, so I really appreciate you jumping on. You've got a fantastic channel. How long have you been going for now?
A year and a half.
Year and a half, man.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've done incredibly well. You've got like 2,000.
We just crossed 2,350, I think.
Yes,
overnight.
2,000.
Oh, no, 2,360.
There you go. 222 videos. That's a nice number.
Yeah,
a year and a half. That's really good. That's really good accomplishment, man. Getting my hats off to you. And you've started doing members, channel members as well, which is good.
We have. I'd like to. One of the things with that is I give to the Hero Initiative as well with those subscriptions. The amount of content that we put out there that's focused on the creators, I just felt that was a nice way to sort of give back in some way. So
no, that's good. That's good. What do the channel members get? Like early access to videos and stuff like that, is it?
Yeah, originally we were doing originally we did a whole bunch of special exclusives, and we've moved away from that. So it's more what we do now is previews of creator interviews, because it was getting to the point where the creators weren't getting out there. Like we just did an interview with Ken Landgraf, and it was behind the membership wall, and I was just like, look, talking to him, it had got a minimum amount of views, so I just wanted to open it up. So when they're promoting something, you want to give them an opportunity. So we opened it up, so it's preview for creator interviews. So whenever I get someone, like we had Roy Thomas, we've had Al Milgram, just opening it up and letting everybody see it after say a week or so.
Yeah.
We do a mega members mail call show, which is supposed to be members only, but it wasn't last time.
Yeah.
And we do a sketch show. I do a sketch show as well. Sketch.
Yes, I won one of your sketches actually.
Yeah.
It's in one of these boxes here. So I'm in the process. We're moving. So I wanted to get it out, but it's like this. It's like it could be in one of 22 or 23 boxes. So I'm just like,
that's our problem as collectors. It goes somewhere. Yeah.
It's so funny because when we were moving, like I was like, right, I want to get stuff boxed up and get it all packaged and secure. And like Gemma, my wife Gemma, she's like, we haven't even done the rest of the house yet. And I'm just sorting out my room. That's all I'm sorting out. I'm not bothered about anything else. Just want to make sure my collectibles are okay.
That is actually That is completely correct for every time you do a move, or that is the one piece that is the
Yeah.
most worrisome for me because this has to be taken care of. I don't worry about the porcelain or whatever else
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, of course, no,
the
100%. And
comics need protecting.
my brother moved last year, and I helped him move. And funny enough, he moved to Bloxwich, and he he was like, "Oh, James, can you move my stuff can you move everything from this room? Because I know that you won't break it. I know you'll look after it." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." It's all like
Excellent.
his comics and his games and his toys and then whatever whatever he had.
Yeah.
But we've neglected the chat, so we'll just
Yes.
say a quick hello and then we'll get into the questions,
Yeah.
Dave.
For sure.
You don't. I'm calling you Dave, but is it okay to call you Dave or David? What would you
It's
prefer?
fine. Only my mother and my wife call me David generally.
That's when you're in trouble, though.
That's
Or you're
when you're
doing
in
something wrong.
trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. We've got Mike Cecilia in the house. Thank you so much, Mike. One of my faithful moderators. We've got Christina Payne. Thank you so much for joining us, Christina. We've got EML in the house. Thank you so much. What up? JSS Brooklyn. Thank you again. Another great moderator of the channel. Good afternoon, all. If you'd like a link dropped, let us know. Otherwise, relax and enjoy the show. Thank you very much, JSS. JSS is gunning for the CBC Awards.
He
Wants
is.
to
Yeah.
wants to get recognised. I believe Christina won last year. Congratulations for that, Christina. Well done. We've got who else we've got in the house? Everyone's saying hello to each other. Hold on. We've got my darling wife. Thank you so much, Gemma, for joining us.
Right, Gemma.
Let's see, look who else we've got. Lawrence from Mighty Comics and Collectibles, dude. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Go and check out Lawrence's channel. It's great.
I was watching him yesterday, actually.
Mate, he does some
Mm.
great videos. Honestly, he does a top 10 and then he top hot books. But he also, I really enjoy like his comic community news ones where he wears like a wig and everything. I think
I've seen
that's
those.
really, it's really good.
That wig wouldn't suit me.
No. Appreciate it. But we've got Nate as well. We had Nate on the channel a few weeks back. He's a great dude. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't understand any of these accent comments at all. I only speak Midwest moderate hick dialect. Well, fair play. Appreciate you joining us, buddy. We've got Brian LCS, who's the founder and of the CBC Awards. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone's going on about the accents.
Well, it's the perfect storm.
We've got Dan's Comic Corner in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. My wife says that she loves your background, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Remember to hit the thumbs up. We've got Pad Bear. Thank you so much, Pad Bear, for joining us. How are you doing, buddy? And see if there's anyone else. We've got Nico Garcia. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it, buddy. And we've got Captain UK.
Thank you so much. Regulars.
Awesome. Yeah. But no, a typical icebreaker question, Dave, is I just like to basically ask. This is not about your YouTube channel. This is just about you. Who is Dave or David?
Who is Dave? I am I'm not formally educated.
Okay.
Everything, yeah. So I like to explore new things and whether it's tech, whether it's art, whether it's comics. So I generally stumble on stuff and self-teach or self-taught. Yeah. So I'm probably, if you ask my wife, she'd say you're probably one of the people that never stops and you just keep looking for new things. So that's how I like to go through life. I have a motto which is never settle.
Okay.
So that you just keep doing stuff. So I think that's in essence who I am. I'm the sort of person who just gets up every morning, wants to do something new, wants to try something new, because you're only here once. So yeah. And
yeah,
whilst trying to do that, I pick up some interesting hobbies, friends, and I'm also a big fan, and some of the people in the community will know this, is of sharing a lot of those passions, right?
Yes.
and that's why this all came about. But then equally, whenever I'm, if I've got a book that I've picked up, I think about the other collectors as well that sort of come along the journey with you. So I try and I do that through life as well. It's much more of a, it's all well and good being driven and being passionate about something, but you need to share that passion. And so that's that. I'd say that's me.
So, so what made you move to Australia from the UK?
It was work, actually.
Was it
The
work?
classic
Oh, so it
work.
wasn't a woman. No.
Well, it was a bit of both, but yes,
Oh,
it
here we
was
go.
work happened along at the same time, and so it all worked out.
Okay.
But that was 17, 18 years ago now, moving to Australia.
Yeah.
So I was previously living in the UK. I spent most of my formative years, to your point, in the West Midlands,
In the West Midlands. Yeah.
which for those who don't know is slap bang in the middle of Great Britain.
Yeah. We're landlocked, so there's
There's
every
I
time.
never saw. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we want to go to the beach, it's like 2 hours away at least. Whereas for other places in the UK, it's like an hour or whatever.
The Americans are screaming right now. A 2-hour drive to the ocean. Some of them would give their right arms for that too.
Bro,
So
I'm tired after driving for 2 hours. I'm
yeah,
terrible, honestly.
yeah, UK road. So yeah, I spent most of my formative years there. To your point, didn't see water, and then moved to London, as you do when you're in your 20s.
Okay.
Spent much of my 20s in London, and then to your point, met someone, moved to New Zealand for a little while, and then moved to Australia eventually.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how do you find the difference between the two countries?
The weather.
The weather.
The weather is the number one factor.
It,
I live in Victoria, which is basically like a microcosm. It's a Victorian city, so it
no.
feels very English.
Yeah.
It's quite unique in terms of Australia, in terms of that, because Sydney feels very US centric. Melbourne feels very English European.
Yeah.
And so it works. And the weather is not as great as, say, Sydney or Brisbane or the rest of the Australia, but it is a great place to live because it's got the culture. Only when there's no lockdowns, because we had a very bad time during that period.
Oh, yeah. I think we all did. To be fair, it was pretty unprecedented times, but yeah. So in terms of like, is it the winter there now?
It's absolutely freezing, and I'm in a t-shirt. Yes, it's winter. We don't get below zero in Melbourne. It's like 10 degrees,
Yeah.
and that's another reason why the difference between the UK and Australia is, winter in the UK is going to be, you're freezing. Like, it is below zero, and you occasionally get snow.
Yeah.
Here, it gets to like 10 degrees. And then you get these stupidly ridiculous summers where you get 45-degree days for like 4 or 5 days in a row.
I could live with 10 degrees. That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's livable, and it's always blue. It's mostly blue sky. Like, I'd say 95% of it is it's blue sky.
Mate, it's mostly grey over here. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's depressing.
Yeah, that's why I come back every year or so to see my folks.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's exactly that. The last time I was over, it was blue skies for 4 days, and I was just, this is not usual.
Yeah, it's probably. So are they still in the Midlands then?
They are. They're still there. They're still there.
When you next due over?
Probably come over. I come over generally in the beginning of spring.
Okay.
And tie that in. I think the last couple of years I've done Emerald City Comic Con and WonderCon, and that's how I do a lot of how I should have scheduled a lot of the travels that I do. It's more around existing trips that are planned, or work trips or whatever, so that actually it's not always, I'm not just buying plane tickets and flying around the world ad nauseum.
You try to
it's linked. Yeah.
Is that like training and stuff for work, or like meetings?
Things like that, yeah. Or there'll be like a family holiday, and I'll selfishly tack on we need to go via LA, or
oh wow. Yeah, that's
they're very patient and very understanding, and I appreciate them tremendously. But yeah,
no, that's great because that's kind of in comparison to myself because I've got a young family and whenever we go away somewhere, I always, on Google comic shop near me, seeing the location, seeing what's there.
yeah,
Always doing that.
yeah.
Um,
It's a nice way to do it. And again, if you've got an understanding partner that lets you do that, then that's great. And
yeah,
it
Gemma's.
sounds like we're both fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, no, Gemma's definitely very understanding. She's awesome for it. So, but next time you're down this way, we'll meet up and we'll go look at some comic shops and stuff
Will
together.
do. Yeah,
That'd
for
be good.
sure. Love
There's
to.
I don't know. Have you ever been to the London Comic Mart?
That's the one in Notting Hill, right? Is that the one in
It's
Notting
at a
Hill?
hotel. I don't know the
Ah,
exact where it is.
no, I've not been to the Comic Mart. I've been to that. There's a similar titled shop that I was there last time. They wouldn't let me film inside,
Oh,
um,
right, okay.
which I
Oh,
thought was a
you're on about
the exchange.
the Notting Hill Exchange comic book
Yes.
exchange, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a quick hello to Fuzzy. Thank you so much for hopping on. I hope you're enjoying the rewind, buddy. Thank you for that. No, the comic, I've been to Notting Hill Comic Book Exchange, and what did you think about it inside? Did you think it was alright or what?
I th they I It was small. There was some good books,
Yeah,
but they'd been very picked over, I think, and they weren't as high. Like
high
I'm
grade.
very into my high grade,
Yeah,
so yeah. I
I
thought it was
I
good.
found. Yeah, I thought that. So my sister goes to uni in London, and we met up, and
Mm,
we went and had like an Indian in Notting Hill, but we also went and had a look at those shops. So she went round with me, and I was just like, I kind of felt like they were a little bit overpriced for like them just being dollar, not even
yeah,
dollar books in my opinion. They're cheaper than that,
yeah,
and I think it's probably because it's a touristy area, so they're a bit higher priced.
yeah. The rent's probably
A lot
ridiculous
more,
for
yeah.
them,
Yeah,
and
100%.
yeah, and look, I didn't buy anything from there. Um,
No, I never do.
so, yeah,
But I also didn't film it as well, so it's one of those things, like, I
we
would've.
probably couldn't.
No, exactly. But that's the thing for me, when I go to places, I kind of if I don't have a good experience, I won't film it, or
Mm,
won't, because and I'm sure you're well aware and know this, but if we did a video where we were slating a comic shop, it would get
mm,
far more views than when if it's an amazing comic shop.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is the heartbreaking thing really about this medium that we're in. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I did include them in the video just because it was more here's what you can go and visit
yeah,
whilst
of
you're in
course,
London.
yeah.
But I did mention, they didn't allow you to film, and I was like, well, that's sort of a bit of a miss, if you ask me.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because it could be somebody's cup of tea, shit, dare I
Mm.
say it, but,
Yeah, he said.
it's one of them things. But no, I appreciate, for that little insight into, who you are. Um, the next question I got is, so
Mm.
what inspired you, um, to start your YouTube channel? Still only 35 cents.
So I'd been trying. I was like, obviously, I was watching all of the COVID YouTuber startups, right?
Yeah,
And I was again, it was the classic one, watching Comic Tom at the very, very, very beginning,
everyone, yeah.
and just like seeing all these books in my collection going up and up and up,
Yeah,
and thinking, oh, okay, there's some interest in this content. And I was on the CGC boards conversing on there and just getting back into the hobby because I'd only been back in the hobby since about 2010.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, so when the whole COVID thing, I toyed with setting one up, and I was going to do it, and I never got the setup right. I was like one of these things where I want it, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly.
yeah,
And I just waited and waited and waited, and then eventually I just got to the point where we just moved house, and I was like, I'll just set it up and start running it. And I think the catalyst was actually John and Richard from Bronze and Modern Gods. They were at Baltimore Comic Con,
yeah.
and I did a live stream with them because I'd got a whole bunch of Marvel UK books or Marvel UK variants, and showcased it on there. And then that triggered me, like, right, now's the time to do
Mm,
it because
yeah.
I'm out there now.
Yeah. It's a bit like our friend JSS Booking. He is going to be going on Only Slabs, I think, in
Right.
I want to say around August time, maybe. Um, and I think once you go on camera and you start showing off some books, you'll get that bug, and you might
Yeah.
want to start something up. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I mean, he can't do it until if he's up for the CBC Awards for the moderator, he can't do a YouTube channel until that's over with.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point actually. Yeah, yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I didn't think about it, actually. No, but yeah. So you know, during the pandemic, we had a load
Mm.
of YouTube channels. I'm one of those channels. To be fair, we call them COVID babies, don't they?
COVID
Um,
babies, yeah.
yeah. But yeah. So you're watching Comic Tom. You're watching other channels like that. Who really like what channel that you watched really thought I want to be a bit like them?
Not Comic Tom, and
Yeah.
not because it's bad or I don't like the content, just
Yeah.
because it didn't sort of sit like there's a lot of work that goes into that,
Oh,
right?
yeah, there's a lot of
And Mighty Comics and Collectibles as well, same thing, right? Like, and I've seen other YouTubers start doing it, and when I edit my videos, you realize just how much work that is to do. And I don't
yeah,
have a team; it's just me. So I'd much rather, yeah. So that it's not that one. I'd think more like Bronze and Modern Gods really stood out for me. I really enjoyed and enjoy comic tropes
oh,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um, so that history side of it was the thing that I really liked, and I've struggled with that for the last year. But I finally think I've started to find my pattern now because everyone just shows books, right?
yeah,
Is the general how I see most of the content. And I thought, well, there's a gap, not a gap, but there's an opportunity here to sort of tell a story of the book and then show the book, which is not something that comic trope comic tropes tend to do history.
yes,
John and Richard at Bronze and Modern Gods do a bit like do that as well, but it's less structured. It's more of a sort of here's a book and here's a story, where
yeah.
I try and front end it with the story and then show the book.
No,
So
it's yeah, that's one of the good things about your channel. You're very informative, and you are delving into the history of like the comic books. You're a big fan of 2000 AD.
AD, I am.
So for anybody who is watching that might not be aware of 2000 AD, because I will be totally honest with you, it's not something I grew up reading. My brother did, like,
Wow.
but in Judge Dredd and all that wasn't something that I was kind of like interested in. So for anybody who's watching, maybe you could give like a explanation about Judge Dredd or 2000 AD.
First of all, I am shocked
I
to
know,
hear that.
I
Like
know.
that, it actually is. It's astounding to be honest, because it's one of those universal comic books that's in the UK. Started from memory, I think 1977.
Yeah,
It's an anthology title that essentially, um, at the time, was futuristic because 2018 it was 1977, and so they're telling futuristic tales, and they could be anything from man-eating dinosaurs in the future. Um, you've got the aforementioned Judge Dredd, who is essentially a one-man lawgiver in an authoritarian environment, um, and it was quintessentially British. That's the
yeah,
thing that I loved about it. So all of those boys' own titles like Eagle, etc., and Valiant, and all those 2000 AD came from that sort of sensibility, and it is the humor. There's humor as well as hard sci-fi, which is the thing that I like about it. And it's a bit of in my mind, it's still a bit of an undiscovered and undervalued book or
yeah,
books, right? Because it's still running to this day. Um, it's been picked up. I think it's Rebellion now that owns the rights to them. Um, and essentially it's been running since 1977. It goes out weekly, or it would used to go out weekly.
yeah,
And yeah, you just get some great stories, and a lot of the US talent that has ended up in Marvel and DC and Image.
yeah,
Most, they all came from 2000 AD. You got Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, you know Brian Bolland started there as
Yeah, there's a
well.
lot of
So
history in that, to be fair.
yeah, and it's just as I say, I've got a whole stack here because I thought you might want to bring those up.
No, that's fine,
But
buddy.
yeah,
Um,
I'll show
you,
one just quickly because it's
yeah,
good to sort of see the comparison in terms of size, right? So this is the bit. This is they're like magazine size, but even bigger than magazines, to be honest.
yeah.
Let's get it in shot. So you compare this to a standard comic book. It's is that in shot?
It's kind of out of focus, but
Let's try that. There you go.
your camera's not mirrored. So if you go to settings on the camera on
Yeah.
Restream, it's like mirrored you, so it's the opposite way. It's coming across like 5.8.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. We can turn that off anyway. So it's the big, massive magazine size and paper stock. So newsprint.
Yeah. The how do I get that back now? Let's have a look. Yeah, so you'll be this is probably going to break your heart, Dave. But when I go to comic shops or places where there's collectibles or vintage items and stuff, 2000 AD doesn't really, like, if it's there, it's like, it's kind of like, the like the Beano and the Dandy. You don't really, I wouldn't choose to go through it. Like, I'd avoid it. I came across a collection last year where, funny enough, really, I was queuing up in my daughter's school to pick her up, and the guy in front of me was like, "Do you know anything about comics?" And I was like, "What?" Because my wife's inherited her father's collection. He's passed away, and I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to come now. Am I okay to film it?" That's my first question.
Yeah.
And so, like, I saw these books, and there was a lot of 2000 AD in there, and like the Dandy and Beano, but there were some American comics in there. But the only thing I was looking for, obviously, was that first Judge Dredd.
Prog 2.
Yeah, but I think their closest issue is probably about 20 something, maybe.
Right. Still. I mean, those
Still quite low.
I think the problem with 2000 AD, you're right. There's a lot of dreck.
Yes.
When you get past a certain point. So my initial focus was 1 to 500, which is where the vast majority of the great stories and the vast majority of them were on that newsprint paper.
Yes.
That's where I tend to focus. There's very few keys outside of those numbers as well. So there's a few to keep an eye out for. I think it's 224. No, hang on. 17. Actually,
here's one I made earlier.
Yeah, I've got a few numbers here so 15149 through to 151 is the first Judge death.
Okay. He's your favorite, is he?
He's one of them. Like, I'd say 2000 AD is. That's all right. I mean, he's one of them. This is the book in question, right?
Yeah. So
you wouldn't even know that he's in
there. So when I went through that collection, like, they weren't stored properly. They'd been all stuck together. They were a bit moldy, and with the newsprint, it really stands out. But that to be fair, that's a great cover.
It's a great cover, and this, they did have great covers throughout the run. But
it's orange as well.
The first page, and you get this gentleman. Oh,
nice.
Let's go back here. There you go.
Very nice.
And a very unassuming, just another Judge Dredd story. And started the legend that is Judge Death and Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an exact copycat.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But yeah, they're all newsprint. They just don't last. And you're right. But it's not my main focus. That's the irony of it. 2000 AD is like one of the passions, and I've become a little bit known for it because I spend a lot of time on it. But most of my collecting is around Bronze Age, hence the still only 35 cents.
Yeah, of course. We've got Pete from Triple G Comics in the house. Thank you so much, Pete, for joining us. He says he's just joined in time to see Dave showing off some UK greatness. Goodness. Appreciate it. I've mirrored it. Nice one,
I
buddy.
mirrored it now. Yeah, you told me I did, because if we're going to be
No,
showing books,
to be fair, it was yeah, I should have said it beforehand, to be fair. But no, we've got Insta Warp as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Pre-COVID YouTube channels were by far the best. RIP Lords of the Long Box and ETA Nick, etc. Yeah, thanks for that. But no, so in terms of your YouTube channel, then Dave,
Hmm.
what video that you've done has surprised you the most? Like, has been like the most successful, or the least successful that you thought that maybe it would have?
So I've been experimenting with different content, and the one that surprised me the most that didn't succeed or didn't get anywhere, I did a Deadpool um,
Review.
spec review. No, not a review, like a spec video.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'll give this a go, and it didn't get anywhere. Like, and it was before, in the lead up to Deadpool, the new Deadpool movie, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is let's try this out and see if it works. Didn't work at all.
Yeah.
The ones that have surprised me is the first ones that really worked, and I've been really focusing on is the different LCS tours, comic conventions, and the room tour. Like, those are
Yeah,
probably the
mate,
most.
your room tour is amazing. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
Absolutely amazing.
the other one that's really good that I really enjoy doing, and this is what set me on the path, is I did a Marvel team up one, and
Yeah.
I did a giant size one, which was just literally overhead camera,
Going for the
looking at the covers, but then opening the books and actually going through the first splash pages and who had created the books.
Oh yeah.
And those worked really well. Like, a lot of people were like, yeah, those got a lot of views. And that's what got me on this path of like telling the story of the book or the series.
Yes.
And then actually, rather than just showing a book, going through the books, like, people don't get to see inside generally for the most part. So
No,
doing
yeah,
more of that.
it's all just showing covers off, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that's good. So you said about in terms of like the overhead shots of the comics. Is
Yeah.
that something where you probably would say that it didn't require as much like editing or work or planning on what the video is, because you're literally just going for the video? So it's like, it surprised you in terms of if you've put more effort into other videos and it hasn't done as well.
Less about that. I just more I think about the ideas. So
Yeah.
I have the idea first for the video rather than um I don't mind the work. So that Deadpool video surprised me, not because of the fact that I put in all the extra work or it was less work to do the overhead. It was
Yeah.
just more that, like, I would have thought that would have been more interesting, given, you look at like Comic Tom's videos, or you look at like how people use Key Collector app, right? And I was
Yeah.
thinking, okay, well, that makes, but I think you've got to continually do those
Yes.
to essentially earn the right to tell those stories in a better,
It's about the consistency, I think, with stuff like that. You've got to keep putting it out there and out there and out there and out there.
Yeah.
But the thing is with the whole YouTube algorithm is that you, as soon as you deviate from the core subject of your channel,
Yeah.
it doesn't it just doesn't get put out there, or it
No.
doesn't get so if you randomly just did a video on I like to fish or do this whatever, it just wouldn't, you get like your regulars or the people who follow you the most will give you support, but then it just won't get put out there, I'm guessing. But it's one of them things.
Yeah,
It's
so I
heartbreaking.
stay in my lane there.
Stay in the line, yeah, that's 100%. And the other thing is as well, it's like I'll put a video out and I'll be like, oh, because we're all searching for that 1 in 10, that one. And then you put it out and you're like, oh, it's 7 of 10. Why is it doing so poor in the first couple of hours? And then, the next minute I wake up the following morning and it's like 2 of 10 or 3 of 10. You're like, oh, okay. And and then all of a sudden, like the next day, it just gets more views, or it's evergreen content where it doesn't necessarily just because it's a new release that people watch it. They'll watch it 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, a month or 6 months. They're the best ones to if you can find a subject on that.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's hard. I mean, this is the thing no one tells you
no,
about from any YouTube piece, right? Is that you never know what's going to hit, and you
y-
never know, and you just got to keep putting content out. And to your point, like, last year and a half, I've tried to do it every week,
yeah,
and do a live every week. And so, sometimes the lives do a lot better than. So the idea in the live is better than the ideas in the main video,
yeah,
which I always find interesting. When that sort of when a live pops, then I try and go back and um,
like
redo the as a
an
long form.
yeah. Well, that's a good idea, to be fair. Um, but yeah, it's hard, and I try to. I'm not superstitious, but like the studio app.
Mm,
When I put release a video, I will I'll have a look at it to see how it's doing, but then I'm like, right, I'm not gonna look at it for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
mm,
Like, I don't wanna be, like, checking to see how it's doing, and because in the past, I've gone to look at it and gone, "Oh, okay. It's at, 333 views. That's decent for,"
mm.
and then I'll go on it the next time, which will be like, I don't know, half an hour later or something like that, and it'll still be at that thing, and I'll be like, I've ruined it for myself because I went and checked what the view count was.
No,
Do you know what I mean? It's a
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Again, it's just what you just never know. And I
no, you
think
never
the
know.
other thing I've watched a few of those videos around like what you should expect. Like if you're hitting 10%
Yes.
or your views, that's about the norm. Like that's what you should be expecting.
Yeah.
And to your point around that one of 10, it's such a nice feeling when you see it go above the curve. And that's when you start to realize that, okay, so this is the lanes that I'm playing in, and this is the stuff that I need to do more of.
Yeah.
So
100%. I totally agree. Um, Micah says I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Um, Christina Payne, let's show MJ some love. Hit the thumbs up. Really
awesome.
appreciate that. Just checking the chat to see if there's any questions. If you've got any questions for Dave, pop them in the chat. I'll put a star on them and I'll save them for the appropriate point. Um, Mike Cecilia, left is right, up is down. He's in
That's
Australia. That's
right.
right, MJ. Yeah, 100%. He's definitely down under.
The water does flow the other way.
JSS Bookings says that thank you. He's excited to raise money for cancer research because I'm giving away a slab or two. Oh, nice. So
Mm.
Saturday, August the 16th. Hope all can join. I'm not ever starting a YouTube channel, by the way. Awesome. But no, only slabs as well. You were on that. I think you were on that maybe like a few weeks before I was.
Yes, I've
Yes.
been lucky enough to be on it twice now, which is good.
Oh wow.
So Rob invited me. I got involved with Rob pretty early on, and he
Very
invited
cool.
me on. So yeah, been lucky enough to be on twice, and again, it's one of those where it's such a great show to go on.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's awesome. I absolutely loved it, and
mm,
it's it's a simple concept, and you can't.
yeah,
That formula is like unbreakable, and the fact that there's two fantastic giveaways for the audience as well.
yeah,
It's a great show, absolutely
yeah.
great show.
I
Um,
love being part. I love being part of it, and just yeah, just anytime you get invited, like this show, right? Just coming on and talking to other YouTube channels that you enjoy. Like I love your channel, and
thank you.
it's just great to be able to sort of take part. And again, I wouldn't have imagined a year and a half ago being part of the community, and actually, you're looking from the outside, but you don't really, it's nice just meeting all these people.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge as a comic book YouTuber?
Time.
Yeah.
It's realistically time. Yeah, when you're working full time, it's balancing time with family as well as work, right? Because I try and I catch the train to work, for instance. So I'll crack open the laptop, or I'll be writing scripts or ideas or researching stuff in those moments. That's
Yeah.
the piece that I found the hardest.
Yeah.
The content piece, I used to do design. So for me, doing all the sort of thumbnails and the editing and photoshopping, that stuff is relatively painless. Well, I know that causes a lot of other YouTubers issues because
Yeah.
they either it's a big learning curve, or they've never done it and they don't, it's a real challenge. But yeah, that's been the biggest challenge, just time. Because I can do more. This is the other thing that really frustrates me sometimes. It's like one day I can see a point where I either retire or and I'll just be pumping it out on a daily basis, because this, you don't know, the room has got piles of comics nowadays, but they're all ideas for content. Like,
Yes.
I've separated it out.
Yeah. I mean, Triple G Comics in the chat, he'll attest to this, but this part here, there's just boxes of stuff I've not even unboxed yet.
Yeah.
Because I think, "Oh, I'm just gonna unbox it for a video," and then,
Mm.
sometimes it'll be like a month, and
Yeah.
it could be damaged in there, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
I
it's
know
a
what you mean,
it's
exactly.
not it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, but time is, important, especially if you have a family, or you have a social life outside,
Yeah.
of this as well. And y- so you said about you write scripts. You got like a teleprompter or something like that, or
Yeah, so I do. That was one, early on. I bought a
you,
legato prompter.
mate? You have got all the kit, haven't you? It's awesome. You
But
said you said you were going to do it properly.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. But when I first started, I didn't have the prompter. It was all sort of off the cuff, no script, no, you know.
Yeah,
And even the script, sort of, when I do live streams, there's no script. When I do the full form videos, that is, to some degree, I have a guide or a script that
yeah,
I work from, because you don't want to miss a key data point. I've done that, and I try to get everything spot on and right. And that's why I use it. And it's so good, because I'm like, right now I'm looking at the teleprompter,
yes,
and that's why
and
I'm able to see it. Whereas earlier I'm looking down.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, and and it's about, you don't want to be, seen looking down, reading what you're about to say, or you need to be engaged into the audience and looking them dead in the eyes, or what.
Yeah.
That's why it's good.
And they're relatively cheap. Like, I think that's the thing. There's ones that you can get on for your phone, where you put it on a
Oh yeah,
tripod, and your phone reflects. So there's loads of different sort of options you can do it. And I always find it useful, because you can then see and talk directly to the camera, as opposed to doing this all the
oh,
time.
of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. To be fair, I probably would get one, but I can't read, so being a comic book fan, I can't read. No, I'm joking, but
Yeah, I know what you mean.
no, I appreciate that. So have you ever kind of experienced any sort of burnout in this year and a half? Like, I get it all the time. Like, it's sometimes it's like I've got to motivate myself to do something.
Not so much burnout, just more of the lethargy to do. Like, might miss 2 or 3 days. Like, I try and keep on a schedule to sort of publish before Friday.
Yeah,
So, it'll be Friday night or Saturday. Sometimes that drifts out to sort of Tuesday. And I think one week I've missed it. But it's just more like, again, it comes down to that time factor more than anything else. Not burnout. It's more, I run out of time with other things that are in my life, and so I don't do it. So, I mean, I've got that's the thing. There's no burnout, because I've got all those ideas. My
yeah,
biggest challenge is I don't have the time to do it.
yeah.
So less burnout, more enthusiasm. More, if someone could give me an extra 48 hours every week, I'd take it.
We've got a couple of new people join the chat. We've got Eman. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Really appreciate it. Oh my goodness. This is a regional comic book talk of epic proportions. Literally, they're on the other side of the world from each other. Um, We've got Gem Mint Collectibles in the house. Thank you, Gem, for joining us. I hope you're
Hey,
well,
Jim.
buddy. Hope you've managed to pry yourself away from Expedition 33, one of the best games ever. And it was his birthday yesterday, so happy
Oh,
birthday
happy
for
birthday.
yesterday. Email has said, understanding the tech that allows us to connect when we're literally thousands of miles away via video and dorking out about comics with no interruption in connection is absolutely mind-blowing. This is what the internet was made for, communication.
Me and you.
just for us to.
Just us.
We've got Mike Cecilia's dropped a super chat. I really appreciate that. Supporting the fun for MJ who can't read.
Can't read.
To be fair, right? I mean, I don't know what it's like for you, Dave. The collecting part is pretty much coming up next anyway in the questioning. But do you like? I kind of stopped reading modern comics like a few years back. What's it like for you?
So I read some Marvel's. That I don't feel there's not a lot of reading in Marvel at the moment, right? So even if you wanted to read, the stories aren't. It's mostly about the art, and I can't remember which title it was. That I think it was what was the vampire one recently? The one.
Vampire. What? Marvel.
The one with Blade. It was the crossover
Oh,
event.
Blood Hunt or something, was it?
Blood Hunt. Yes. I remember reading that and going, there's literally no dialogue in here. It is literally just action panels. The story is flowing. There's no characterization. There's no it was just so shallow. So I don't feel that there's reading in modern comics that there is or in modern Marvel.
Yes.
I feel that there is in the Image titles, in the independents, in DC doing a great job, right?
Yeah.
Marvel, you have to really find a title that has good writing or something that you can read or there's a character behind it,
right? I'm exactly the same. So I recently got back into reading again, and it's pretty much all independent. There's no Marvel. There's no DC actually. I don't think. It's the independent stuff at the moment is absolutely killing it. And it, the big two. I mean, DC still put some decent stuff out here with these absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and the Flash. But it's kind of like I never would have thought, probably, 10, 15 years ago, that the big two would be overtaken by for the stories and because DC for me have some of the best storylines going. And it's just crazy to think that independent are doing so, indies is just doing so well now.
I think the thing that it's just struck me, the thing that I think is happening is that if you think about indies, right, they have to do a lot of world building.
Yes.
Right. So that by its nature creates a need to create a narrative and to tell a story. So you're in the beginning of that story. So probably the reason why the vintage comic book stuck with us is that Peter Parker, we didn't know who Peter. They had to tell the story of Peter Parker. They had to introduce the characters. I think they're all fully formed now at Marvel and DC, right? So there's always this balance between reintroducing a reader and keeping existing fans happy. They used to do that very well in, say, the 80s, right? Where they would still continue to retell the origin or do something, just to keep people coming in and introducing to that. I just think that they've got lazy. They recognize they've got the movies, so they don't have to do the effort.
Well, they recognize they've probably got the IP that people recognize from other mediums and just don't, just slap them in a book and then just have them go out with a new storyline. There's no, backstory or in terms of, one of the things that really put me off modern books is the way they've absolutely, the Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley is one of my favorite characters.
Hmm.
and they've just like ruined him.
Yeah.
Like I just, if anything came out now with, I would just not even bother reading it, even though he's one of my favourites.
It that's the danger, right? I just don't think there's not as much respect for the IPs anymore that they own. It's
No,
just, well, what can we do with this
it's all
for
about
column inches or just to
yeah,
be different?
yeah,
And it's like, like they did that again, going back to the 80s, right? Like, they changed characters, but it was not for change's sake, right? It was more of there's a reason why we're going down this path. And it might not last long, but at least you'd get a real story. Like, I mean, bless him, Dan Slott with Superior Spider-Man. I didn't like that storyline when it first came out,
yeah.
but I do at least.
Respect that.
He had a story he wanted to tell, right? And he
Yeah,
told it, and he told it really well. And he actually brought me and a lot of other collectors on board. Like, we're not even at those days anymore, right? Like, where someone has an idea fully fleshed out, gets to the end of it. They're just doing crazy stuff now, just because I think
yeah.
they can.
And it's just the relentless. Oh, we're back to issue one again of
Hmm.
Spider-Man, or back to Venom. It's just one of them things.
Yeah.
We got Mock Swagger in the house. Thank you, Mock, for joining us. Really appreciate you, buddy. Hope you're well. We've got Locke in the house. I, another fantastic artist like yourself. He did a sketch card for me of Ben Riley Spider Carnage, which was pretty cool. We've got
Awesome.
Coroban in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. I hope you're well. Miss seeing your YouTube videos. He's a fun guy.
Hmm.
See if anyone else has joined in just to say hello. We've got Rich from Untold Comics. There are some great image books at the minute. Rich is a comic shop owner in Kidderminster. If
Right.
we Whenever you're back this way, buddy, I'd love to take you there
Yeah.
because you'd love to rummage through his store. I've kind of adopted Rich's store, Untold Comics, as my LCS. Um,
Awesome.
even though it's like a 50-minute drive, but it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Rich is his not he pretty much reads all issues coming out. So when people ask him, he knows, or
Yeah.
Rich's recommendations you can't fault. But I'll just message him and say, can you pull this for one side, and I want to read that. So
Yeah.
I've kind of really started reading, getting single issues again because of Rich. So thank you so
Oh,
much for
that's
that.
good.
It's good.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out. I'm back issues as well, or are they just all moderns,
Yeah,
or
back issue. Yeah, like
back issues as well?
he's got
Yeah.
he he's got. I want to say, I can't even begin to imagine how many comics he's got, because he said that the back room is completely full as well, and then
Oh, wow.
upstairs, but you can only put them out in the main. I just love to go through it and not like do inventory, because that would be a bit of a ball out, but I
That's
just love
work.
to go through and have a look. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know if it's like for you. Do you kind of like lose time in a comic shop? It's almost like where is the time gone?
Depends on the comic shop.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm trying to think. There was one I was in Palm Springs, and I
yeah,
lost about 3 hours there. And it could have been worse had the bins been there was like modern bins versus vintage bins. So
yeah,
yeah, um, yeah. But I'm very targeted though. That's the other thing for me. So I lose time, but it's in a specific genre or title that I'm looking for. Or
yeah.
yeah.
It so I used to be that guy who would just go into the comic shop and look straight for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Um, but now I just like love going through all sorts of boxes to see, and I'll buy just something just because I think the cover's cool,
Yeah.
or I think, you know what, I'd like to just have a bit of a read of that, or I hear people talking about this story or this character, and I go, I get this, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah. The last time I got stuck digging was at Comic Con Revolution when I was in the US last month, I think.
Yeah,
And it was the first booth, in the first and the con, and I literally dug through every single one of those boxes, which is not like me. I'm normally
Oh
like,
wow.
okay, and I had a stack probably about this big, and I
Yeah.
had to like go through that just to make sure, and that's the danger, right? If you get lost in that stuff,
Yeah.
my tastes are so varied that I end up like with these massive piles and go, oh my god, I can't, like, because you'll end up spending, and then there's also travel as well, getting back from the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to think about that for you as well. So
Yeah,
that's do you know what I hate as well? I don't know if you this is the same for you. I'll be like, I'm sure I saw this book in that long box or that short box. And I'm like, I should have picked it up. Should have picked it up. Because like sometimes you'll go through and you'll be like, oh, there's issue two, or there's issue three, but I haven't got like one and two. So there's no
mm,
point grabbing it. And then you'll come across one and two and you're like, oh shit, I need issue three. And you're
yeah,
like, which box was it in? It's like I'm sure in my mind it's somewhere in that location, and you end up
yeah,
having to go through it again. Um,
yeah. No,
that's that's a typical me problem. That is.
it's
Um,
painful.
it is.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times.
uh, Triple Pete from Triple G Comics has said, check out Avengers Twilight or Avengers versus Aliens. Great
Mm,
books. I've been the Predator one as well. I don't know. People have been saying that's quite decent.
yeah, I've heard good things about that one. I was collecting the Spider-Man Aliens, sorry, the Avengers Aliens one.
Oh,
So
you
that
was. Oh,
one,
okay, cool.
well, I did pick that one up. That one was okay. Yeah, I agree with Triple G. That was half decent.
Yeah,
And also Isaac Ribic, I think, is the artist, and beautiful art.
yeah.
I've got
Have you hung out with Pete yet, or done anything with Pete?
no, I saw, again, same thing. I saw his only slabs
Yeah,
and then started following him. I hadn't sort of come across his content. Again, it's one of those weird ones, right? How the algorithm works in terms of suggesting content. So
yeah. He's got a great channel. He started it again in the COVID era as well, and yeah, he's a great guy. And his accent. I mean, if he was on this panel with us now, it'd be, and one of his best friends is James, and he's from Ireland. So he just got the.
yeah.
It's very dialecty. That's what I'm saying. But
When he was on Only Slabs and he was talking about his accent, and it's so funny because, again, if you're from the UK, the ability to understand accents is just,
insane.
you're so used to it, and I could understand every word, but you can sort of see some people struggle.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when I first started working, and I didn't really have much to do with like like the black country accent.
Mm,
And I started working with this girl called Kirsty, and I was like, I don't understand the word you're saying. But then after probably about like a week,
yeah.
like other people would be like, I don't understand what she's saying. I'm like, I understand it perfectly now. Like anything she could say, anything, I understand
Mm,
exactly what she's on about. And the Welsh accent as well. Like a
mm,
good friend of mine at work, who I sit next to him, he's Welsh, and we had two guys from Wales in the office, and I can understand my mate perfectly, and he has a very thick Welsh accent,
Welsh
like.
accent.
And this other guy came in, and I was like, I can't understand what he's saying, but I can understand you perfectly.
Mm,
It's crazy, like
great.
how it's crazy. Um, yeah, Rich from Untold Comics said Avengers Twilight is an awesome read as well. I have to check that out. Um, I'm with you, MJ. It's mostly mid-dependent reads for me. Boom
Mm.
and Midge. Uh, you'll do bad things too. Exquisite Corpses. I read that and really enjoyed that. You read
Good.
that?
Yeah, it's really good.
I re-
Um,
I'm really
yeah,
looking forward to the next one of that. To be honest,
I bought the a card variant as well.
it's time. I'm gonna 100% gonna try the game. Like
Yeah,
trading card games, another passion of mine. To be fair,
I think I've got the Frisson cover as well, so I'm toying with getting that signed whilst at Heroes.
oh yeah, you should. You're gonna have a great time. Is it your first time at Heroes, or did you go last time?
No, my third actually.
Third. Oh,
Third time.
jealous.
Um, so the first year I did it, I didn't know anyone. I was not on
Uh,
YouTube.
Yeah.
Last year did know everyone, so it was good, and so it was first time properly catching up with everyone, and then this year is going to be mental. So I'm actually helping organize the community meetup on the Friday. So
Oh, cool. Is it how many people are going to be attending that?
we've got about 50 confirmed at the moment.
Wow, that's
Um,
amazing.
but yeah, it's Friday night, 7:30, and then we'll go for a few hours, and so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna
have a
be
great
really
time.
good.
Wish you guys all the best. Uh, what do you think are some of the best stories in the modern era? Mm,
What have I enjoyed? So I'm reading Nice House by the Sea and Nice House by the Lake. I loved that. I thought that was a really good one.
yeah.
Um, what else have I been reading? I enjoyed the one in the modern era that I really did. A Marvel title that I really enjoyed was the Vision miniseries.
Oh yeah, the I'm trying to remember who wrote it.
Was it Tom King?
Tom King. That's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
that one was fantastic.
yeah.
Um, I'd say I didn't mind the new Secret Wars, right? When
The
that came out,
Hickman. The
the
Hickman one.
Hickman one. I
Yeah.
didn't mind it. I would have liked it to be a bit more. I would have liked a bit more Beyonder,
Yeah.
right? But it was still interesting, and that whole arc from his Avengers run through to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Like if you read that whole piece, like everything end to end, the fact that it's the same thing. He really thought through the story. He had an
Yeah.
epic
Yeah.
idea, right?
He obviously had like a roadmap of where he wanted it, to go.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say that's one. Superior Spider-Man. That whole arc was just fantastic.
With Doc
I
Ock. Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
yeah, that was good. And again, the reason why I really like that one is I hated it at the beginning,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
despised it.
Well, yeah, but that is because Peter Parker was killed off, wasn't he? So it was like
Exactly. Yeah,
it
I was like,
was.
why would you do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
One of my favorites has been, from the past, 10, 12 years, maybe 12 years, maybe no, 13 years. Scott Snyder's Batman run, really
mm,
enjoyed. Um,
yeah,
Court of Owls was one of, when that came out, I was like, this is a brilliant story.
yeah,
Um, I think at some point it will get adapted for a movie, like, for movies and stuff, but that'd be cool.
yeah. Immortal Hulk was another one.
Oh, did you like? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
really, really enjoyed that, and I so much so I went back and got all the floppies like for that.
How do you like read any omnibus format or anything like that?
Not really. I'm still a floppy guy.
Yeah.
uh,
Don't like the
and
hardcover then, I take it.
yeah, I'm
That could be a new show. Do you like it floppy or hard?
yeah,
How do
exactly.
you how
Should
do you
be.
read your comics, floppy or hard?
So yeah, I pick them up occasionally,
Yeah.
but it's more. I'll tell you what I do get that I get more than anything else is these things, right?
I've got a
Like
few.
they don't count as omnibus, but I just love
That
them.
Yeah, so that again, they're like, I mean, how much do you pay for them over there?
Oh, like 20 bucks.
$20,
Yeah.
bro. They're like free for a tenner. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that. Yeah, but
Oh,
it
is that?
depends.
Oh, yes. That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
the
that's
same.
about right. Like you
Yeah.
think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And they're great. They're great little ways to read. To be fair.
yeah, and they're comic size, so you don't have to worry. You're not necessarily breaking, you know. And I'll still read. I'll go back and read. I'll pick up like paperbacks, so you can see there. I've got like
Yeah.
Watchmen, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, things like that.
Yeah. Now you've mentioned Hickman's Secret Wars. I think that one. I think I could probably get that like on Amazon for like
Mm,
£60 or something like that. I'm gonna get that
yeah,
because I'm actually rereading the original 1984 Secret Wars at the
Secret
moment.
Wars.
So might as well get that as well and read it. Um, but yeah, any Spawn readers in the house? Early Spawn, but not. I've got some modern Spawn, but not really. I don't even know what's going on in Spawn at the moment, to be honest.
I never got into, like, that's one of those ones where I never got into it. And the image stuff at the beginning, the only one of the image stuff at the beginning that I got into was Pit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the only one. I picked up like everyone did, right? I picked up a Spawn one, picked up a Wildcats, picked up a Young Blood,
Yeah,
right? But Pit was the only one, and Gen 13. Sorry, Gen 13 and Pit were the two that I was like, oh, those are the ones that I resonated with.
yeah.
And I never reread them or stayed with any of those titles beyond those initial issues. So I couldn't even tell you what's going on with Spawn, right?
No,
But
no.
you know,
And well, interestingly enough, I kind of know that Mark Spears is going to be doing a 6-issue series, I think, coming up. I think
for
it's called
Spawn.
Spawn 77.
Wow.
So there's going to be I think he's doing like the artwork
Yeah.
and the writing on it. So that'd be interesting.
I'm a big fan of Mark Spears monster. So I picked up that title early on and before all the hype, I think. And what people don't realize about that Mark Spears Monsters book is that the story's
The
bloody good as
story's
well.
good. The story,
Yeah.
honestly, that's what. Yeah, that's what's so annoying about it. People think, oh, he does covers. That's all
Yeah.
he's not just a cover artist. I know
No, he's not.
he does some fantastic covers, but the inside is just as good.
Yeah.
And the very amount, the fact that the story's interesting, and I will be totally honest with you, Dave. Out of every book at the moment that I'm getting that to read, that would be always be the first one that I want to read straight away.
Yes. That one and Hyde Street for me at the moment as well.
Yeah,
So I love the Ghost Machine stuff. I'm really getting into that, like picking up more and more of those books from that run because I read Geiger when that first came out.
yeah.
So I've got the early issues of Geiger. And then Hyde Street, I saw Hyde Street on the shelf and I was like, okay, this is good. But yeah, Geiger's just amazing, right?
Picked this up
The
from
whole
MJ
universe.
Comix last weekend, so I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So you want to know something pretty cool? So
Yeah,
on Saturday last weekend, I went on to Beyond Wednesday's channel for their Comic Book Mayhem show.
yeah.
And it was at 3:30 in the morning for me. So I set an alarm and went on to it. And after the show had finished, like the illustrious backstage area, Mark Spears joined, and I got to
Oh,
speak
nice.
to him, and I was like, I was genuinely like in awe. Like it was about 6:30 in the morning for me, and I'd obviously been up
Wow.
pretty much all night, and I was like, is this real? Is this like? And it was so cool just to hear him talking about monsters, and he was saying about. I won't give away everything he was saying because I don't know if I should, but he was saying a lot of what people don't realize is a lot of his covers are all trading cards already and stuff. Like he's
Yes.
got so much stuff that he can use because everyone's like, oh, how can he create all this stuff, put out all this stuff? It's because he's already done it. He did it all in COVID. Like he made a
Yeah.
whole, trading card set and a story beforehand. So
Yeah, because that's where it came from. Because I've got a set series two
oh wow.
of the trading cards, which I managed to pick up. And yeah, I missed his Kickstarters. So he has, yeah, to his point, he already had these images created.
Yeah,
For
I
the,
just think he's awesome as well. Yeah, I think he's good.
I've pinged him a couple of times through. We've DM'd a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
And I was trying to get him on the show to do a creator interview, but hasn't worked out as yet. But hopefully one day.
Yeah, hopefully, same here. Hopefully as well. That'll be interesting. So we've got Colossus Collector in the house.
Ryan.
We've kind of talked about comic books for about. I don't know why we're talking about comic books. It's just a comic book show. I don't know what. We got Hello Colossus Collector. I hope you're both well. Thank you very much. Freaky Louie, absolutely loved his appearance last week on Earning Slabs. Really, he's such a fun guy. Like he's the life and soul of the party. That guy, I can tell you that now. If you take him anywhere, you'll never be bored. I'll tell you that now. We got Split Taurus. Any Spawn readers? That's the same comment from earlier. Captain UK. Indies do tend to be used as a vehicle these days to open up the path for movie and TV options, so the stories have to be told to introduce the characters and ideas. Yeah, that's a fair point. To be fair, definitely with your Captain UK. Is Captain UK from the UK? Then I take it. Do you know much about?
Yes, that's my understanding. Yeah, yes. Every time I do a UK focused comic video, he's always there.
Oh,
Front and
brilliant!
center.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Untold Comics. Rich has said Predator versus Spider-Man is really good. That's exactly the one that I've been hearing good words about. Jason Parker Comics, my Welsh brother. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Really appreciate it. Are you aware of Jason Parker Comics?
I've heard of Jason Parker Comics. Yes.
So again, another COVID channel. Jason was one of the started probably a few months before this channel, and his content was like hilarious with his wife, where he'd just buying comics, and then she'd be like, "What have you bought now?" And he's like, "He bought like £1,000 book," or it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. A very good friend. If there are any Kevin Smith fans, I read that Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob, and it's really good.
Oh wow,
Nice, that's cool.
Kevin Smith's an interesting one for me. I think the He-Man debacle.
Oh, to be fair, I think I watched the first season of that. I mean, again, it's people are gonna hate on me in the chat here. I didn't grow up watching He-Man, so I didn't really know much about it. Again, it was like my brother's 5 years older than me. That was like more his thing. Mine was like Power Rangers, Spider-Man, stuff like that. What I grew up watching. But yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. But again, I didn't know the lore.
I think if you're into the lore and just the it was just one of those where you've got He-Man as the main character and then you don't have him as the
kill him off straight away.
Not main character. It's like, oh come on.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, sometimes like Game of Thrones, like killing Ned Stark off in like the first season and stuff. It can be a great vehicle to success, or it can do the complete opposite.
Yeah, but I think it's slightly different when the main character in your series, like that one,
the name of the show is based on the most beloved 80s cartoon. And you just
it's like
we'll bring him back in the last episode though. Don't worry about
that.
Coroban wants the Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob. E-Man says that he's going to vlog the entire whole event. I can't wait for the Friday night hangout. Do you guys get press passes there, or is it?
You could get them, yes. So I bought a ticket, just and then put it in on the off chance to get the press pass. And I got one this year. So I'll be, I mean, I do coverage anyway, so it's not like
No, you do it for free. Do you know what I mean? You would
I did last year. That was the point. I paid for a full ticket and then basically did coverage anyway. So sort of swings and roundabouts. The benefit with that is you're just getting a little bit earlier, so you can actually get a lay of the land.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I'm trying to get an interview with some of a whole bunch of interviews while I'm going through. So
cool.
Yeah.
We've got Mark from Legion in Comics in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. We've got Rob from Fat Stacker Comics. Appreciate you coming in. Thumb smash. Thank you so much, buddy. Hey, chatting to try to see if there's any. Gunslinger Spawn is amazing. Man, this is proper comic chat. This is proper comic chat. We've got Perry Comics in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, Perry. I've kind of neglected the chat. I think I'm a bit far behind. Sorry about this, Dave.
No worries at all. Chat is always important. Is probably the most important on the stream.
Well, I was going to say, like, some channels when you go onto it, they just completely ignore the chat and you just think, you feel sorry for the people watching. So I try my best to say hello at least to everybody.
For sure.
Rob Fatsack says Spawn 77, Spawn in bell bottoms and an afro. That's what it could be. I hear there might be some first appearances coming up in that,
Okay.
so keep an eye out for that. Has anyone picked up Godfather of Hell? Not heard of that. Hopefully,
No.
good. Mr. Spears is very close to Mr. McClay. It's nice to see. Yep, they're really good friends. I had a blast on that. Beyond Wednesdays, it was a really good show. Has anyone else joined? No, I'm caught up now. So, what is the jewel in your comic book collection then?
Oh,
It's a hard. I know it's hard. It's hard for most of us to decide what's their favorite.
If it was one book, it's probably my Hulk issue 1.
Wow.
Like that's probably the one book, but it does change depending on what comes in.
Is that the one book where if your house was on fire and you had 15, 20 seconds to get a book to save, would it be that book? And
Yeah, yes.
and do you think that you'd be able to get it in 15 to 20 seconds? That's the question.
Oh, do you know what? It's actually so that's the book that I love, right? Because it was I never thought I'd get it,
Yeah.
right? And it's the first big book that I've ever got, right? Like proper big
boy book. Yeah.
Yeah. And that started me on a bit of a path. But the thing that's more, there's a lot of stuff that I've got that I would probably grab first. Like that one, you could technically replace it, right?
Yeah.
There's things in here that, whilst not valuable, are so hard to find
Yeah.
that I'll give you a good case in point. The Doomlord mask, right? It's an original Doomlord mask from the 1980s Eagle Comics strip.
Okay.
And you can't replace it. It's like it took me 5 years to find it.
What I want to know is that that live YouTube count in the background?
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I set one up for Omnibo Aussieverse as well.
Oh, cool.
Recently. You can buy them on Amazon. They're called the Yolanzi Pixel Clock, and
Are they
you
expensive?
can about, I don't know, like $20-$30. Like it's just a screen, and it connects to the internet, and then you can add you have to open up.
Do you have to have an app or something to link with it and put in the YouTube channel?
Yeah, you just have to. There's a couple of things you have to do on the YouTube side, but then once that's done, you can read, because you can go onto someone's channel and see their subscriber count anyway. So it just it ticks over. It's a nice little thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, really enjoy it.
Captain UK said that he's from Blackpool.
Well, there you go.
So, as anybody south of London would say, you're a northerner. But even us in the Midlands, we'd be northerners. A total lack of disrespect.
Well, at least he's by the water.
Lack of respect. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Not too sure I'd want to go in that water, but funny enough, we were thinking about taking our daughter there because the kids love arcades and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do like Blackpool anyway. It's fun, going in and out of the arcades. It's good.
Yeah.
Right. So, are you reading any comics right now?
I am going back and read. So I'm reading Ultimate Wolverine.
Ultimate
Wolverine. I'm reading Exquisite Corpses.
Yes.
I actually started Imperial. I've got the absolute titles, the aforementioned Hyde Street.
Yeah.
I'm now reading Redcoat as well. What else am I reading? Nice House by the Sea.
Okay.
Yeah. That sort of stuff. Yeah.
I was on when I was on Beyond Wednesdays the other night. We were going through Cover Price, and Image have like done like facsimiles for all their major heavy hitters, and they've released like I think I want to say about 30 facsimiles coming out
Mm.
next month or whatever it is. Like, how do you feel about facsimiles and like reprints? Are you sick of them, or do you think that they're needed for to get the new collectors in or to read those stories? Or
Depends on the facsimile, I think, and how the facsimile is produced.
oh,
So I
okay,
don't like the glossy ones.
yeah,
I don't mind the foil ones.
okay,
I think they're actually okay. I think that adds an extra element.
something
A
else to it.
foil, yeah, a foil one with the original paper stock inside it would be the perfect mix for me,
Oh, okay,
right?
cool.
So I'll give you a good example of ones that work really, really well.
Yeah,
Is I've got a copy of the I think it's Batman 1, right? Or it
yeah,
might even be the Detective Comics one, right? And inside they even recreated the orange, like the weird colored paper that it was
yeah,
originally printed on. So I think when it's done that way, that's when I really appreciate it. Um, I mean, we grew up in the UK with reprints anyway, right? So I'm used
yeah.
to a
We used
reprinted
to.
title. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but I still love that old school paper feel.
yeah,
So if you're gonna do a facsimile, then let's do it properly. Do don't stick it on modern paper in my mind, because I'd just go and use the unlimited app and read the
yeah.
issue quickly.
And I think as well. I mean, I don't know if you think this as well, but like Marvel's modern papers awful,
It's dreadful. It's
absolutely dreadful.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're gonna, like, again, when they do the facsimiles, right, you get all the ads,
Yeah,
right? And it's so jarring because they don't have the color. The color reproduction's all wrong. And I'm being like really like this, you've actually probably caught me on the one thing that I'm passionate about.
oh,
If you can't get the color reproduction right on a book, don't do it. Like,
yeah.
it, just don't do it. It's not the same book. It looks ugly. Buy the original book.
This is your real like this grinds your gears, doesn't it?
It does. It really rankles me because it's like, it should be cheaper to print it on proper paper. And I see a lot of this community artists out there, right, who spend a lot of time trying to work out how to do the 4-color process or 3-color, like how to do it properly, or at
Yeah,
least get as close to it as possible. But I just hate the way, like, there's some great colorists, like Geordie Belaire's fantastic, right?
yeah,
Um, but again, they're not the ones doing facsimiles, right?
yeah,
Like, they're not. And sometimes you almost wish they would, because they probably could bring that element back to, like, those books back to life.
yeah. Um, it's speaking of inexpensive paper, we've got Jab's expensive paper in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, but yeah, I totally agree with you, buddy. I think I've actually have you know the Batman one? I've got.
Mm,
I want to say it's either a reprint or it's a facsimile, whatever.
yeah.
The Masterpiece edition. Have you seen that one where it came in a box?
Yes, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
I've actually picked it up. I got one here.
Wow.
Um,
I'm
it's
DC are
actually
doing great.
really
Yeah,
heavy.
look at that. Like, DC are doing fantastic editions, right?
It's like you can just see it in there. I haven't
Yeah.
took it out yet, to be fair. But you get like
Get an action figure and everything.
an action figure. I'm getting that one.
Wow.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, that Batman. Yeah, that Batman book. It's just, when you take it out, it'll be the paper stock inside is just, they've really nailed it.
I'll have that on this one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Because
my understanding. And
I know if you get that graded and if it gets a high grade, it's actually quite valuable.
the other one I'm looking forward to, they've got a Superman one coming out, I think, this summer.
Oh,
So
cool.
they've done an Action Comics. I think they're going to do a Superman one as well. So I'll be picking that up.
That's cool. That's
And
cool.
I've got a Wonder Woman one as well. I've got the Wonder Woman one where she's on horseback. And again, same thing. It's beautiful reproduction. Looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Do you know what imposter syndrome is?
I absolutely do.
So I always feel like in my work, in on YouTube, I always feel like I'm not like I always doubt myself. Like I don't feel like I know as much as anybody else, or that people are better than me, and I always put myself down, and I kind of like have the like I always think that, because I haven't read like modern books as much as everybody else, or, and stuff like that. I always feel like I don't know as much as everybody else. But my wife generally always says to me, she says, like, you know a lot about, considering you say that you don't know a lot
Mm,
about modern books and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I still think like I'm a fraudster about,
yeah.
like I can't help myself. But like, when you mention names and stuff like that, I know everybody you're talking about. But I don't, do you find that for yourself, or do you feel like
Oh, I've struggled with imposter syndrome for a while as well, right? Like it's all relative, right?
Mhm.
You'll know names or like sometimes it's not about knowing names. This is another reason why I write scripts, because if half of the time is I don't know a lot of this stuff. I've just gone out and researched and done the
yeah,
work,
yeah, yeah,
right? And I think that's the piece. Y- It's imposter syndrome is a really difficult one to sort of get, because I think the issue there is we look at all these other people doing other things,
yeah,
and instead of focusing on ourselves sometimes,
yeah.
right?
And
What we're good at, and you know,
yeah, but you kind of alluded to earlier that you're not, you're not you said you're not educated man, in terms of you didn't go and get a, I'm
not
guessing you didn't
formally, no,
not formally, you're self-educated, like you said, self-learn, and you've done
yeah.
well for yourself, clearly. Do you think that probably falls into it as well? Like, because you
Well, that
haven't got
definitely,
that. Yeah,
definitely in my
that's the same
career,
for
yeah.
me. I don't have a degree either, but my profession that I work in,
Mm.
pretty much everybody's got them except for me.
Yeah, and actually that's a very interesting one in Korea.
Yeah,
That's probably where we both get that, right? Because if you don't have a formal education, generally getting into a job sometimes is harder,
yeah,
right? A lot harder. And it was when we were, definitely for me when I was younger, right? It's a challenge because you're not going to get into a gig that requires a degree, right?
yeah, yeah.
But then there comes a point where it flips, right? It's less about the degree and more about the education, or it's more about
The
the experience.
experience. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And it's like, I think we're all, the system, or society basically says you need to go out and go to university. You need to
Yeah.
do this and that. But I mean, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but a lot of the people in this country who go to university, they kind of tend not to go in careers that their degree is
Mm,
about. It's
yeah.
just you go into jobs and it's like, oh, I've got a degree. You can have a degree in something completely different, but they'll take you on just because you've got a degree.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean?
I've always been a very firm advocate for the fact that it's less about the education. Sometimes it's more about the person and how driven they are, like how
Yeah,
much they really push forward. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it, like that.
yeah.
I really fundamentally believe that. um
That's it's like you said earlier about your motto. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Mike Cecilia said the same. A degree does not mean you'll work harder than somebody without 100%. Um, so what is it like then, Dave, being a
mm,
comic book collector in
in
Australia?
Ugh. It's actually good because we do have a good community, right? So there's a whole bunch of comic YouTubers, there's a whole bunch of comic people. It's
Mhm.
just a small pool, right?
Yeah,
And you you can find things, but the general, if someone else finds it, there's a whole bunch of dealers there's a whole bunch of good dealers and there's a whole bunch of mixed dealers, I'd say,
yeah,
right? And there's a lot of low grade at high prices, right? Whereas, and other Aussie comic YouTubers will say the same thing. Mad Spidey and I talk about this all the time.
yeah,
Um, it is hard to find high grade books. It's hard to find rare books, right? And if they are available, someone's holding them and trying to make like ridiculous dollars on them.
Yep.
To the point now where I buy most of my stuff from overseas, right?
Yeah, I think in your most recent video, you said you got it from like a UK auction or something like that.
Yeah, I buy a
Yeah.
lot from UK auctions. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's certainly my wheelhouse, and even US books from the UK, which is weird, right?
Who do you
Um,
tend to use? If you don't mind me
so
asking.
I use Excalibur auctions a lot.
Yeah.
I've used them many times. Eubanks, you name it, right? Like I'll just search through. I've had a look at the Phoenix stuff that I know you are involved with. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's mostly those, and again, but it's not. I've probably picked as much over the bones as
Oh,
possible
of
now.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going a little deeper in terms of things. Like I've just picked up, for instance, Stanley and Herb Trimpe's signature, right,
Oh, wow.
on one of the auctions. So I'm going for more like really obscure stuff now, which is good because you end up like missing the masses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
But
cool.
yeah, I do a lot in the UK auctions, and then what I'll do is I'll bring. Now I've got a whole bunch of understock. Is it overstock or understock? I don't know. The undercopies. That's the one.
Yeah.
And I'm now coming and doing shows every now and again, and what I tend to find is that like it's a very different to the traditional Australian market where everything's expensive. I actually put it at the US FMVs that I can find, and
Oh,
then maybe even cut it back at 10%, right?
oh, cool. Do you use I mean, are you using any streaming auctions like Whatnot or anything like that? Or
I used to do Whatnot on trading. I had a massive. During COVID. I went big on trading cards, like massive.
what trading cards? If you don't mind.
All the Impel Marvels, the first three.
Yeah.
Basically, I think I went to about 1995. Those sort of trading cards.
Marvel Universes. Yeah.
Yeah, the really early stuff with a view to get them graded. And I've got a stack under here where I'm like, at some point I will get them all graded.
Oh man, I love Marvel cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like a so this is like
There you go. Yeah.
This is all full of. I can't remember if I brought this out last time, but those are all.
Oh,
Graded.
well, yeah. You and I are very similar in our tastes in that regard. And that's all Impel, is it?
No, well, a lot of it is, like obviously Marvel Universes. Yeah. There's like Silver Surfer, but there's
that's the first set. That's Impel, isn't it? I thought.
Yeah. Is it Impel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I grew up collecting Pokemon as well. So like the original Pokemon cards. So like I've got like an 8.5 Charizard.
Wow.
But yeah,
you're flexing there.
Well, I actually prefer these CGC cases because if you can get like the Marvel ones with like your CGC slabs, they look great. And also, I've got the first appearance of one of my heroes, David Beckham, like his rookie card. But I don't know if you've heard of this company, MGC. Like
the grading company. No.
Yeah, I'm not a particular fan of the the strip here, the logo, and all that.
I'll tell you what, as someone who grades comic books, right? The one thing I always found difficult, I've done some grading with
cards.
I've done some grading with PSA. The process in card grading is so much more convoluted and confusing.
Yeah, because it's all about like centering, and it's like
that, and just the process. Like you have to have it's just felt a little bit more confusing than submitting comic books to CGC.
Yeah, it's like when I meet people like at conventions and stuff, and they're looking over cards and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, the centering's off," and all this stuff, and I'm looking at it and thinking that card just looks perfect to me, like it looks brand new, like, And they're going, that's like that's not going to hit a 10. That's a 9. I'm thinking, like, I'd take the gamble. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? But
yeah.
I mean, it's one of them
And I
things.
don't know how they do it on. So I see it on those impels, right, where you got the white
Border.
border, right,
Yeah.
and you can see the center, you can see it, right, like
Yeah.
you know, but it's when you, to your point, when you get to that fine detail,
Oh
like,
yeah. And they're like, and it all looks I'm like, it looks
mm.
perfect. I don't know. I genuinely
But
don't know.
the ones I question is like, how do you do that on a edge to edge image?
Ugh.
Like,
Well,
oh, it's miscentered. Like, how can you even tell?
no, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, there's that, I don't know what it's called, but there's a grading company for trading cards now where it's AI, which is probably, it can never come into comics because obviously you've got the interior that you've got to
Mm.
consider as well. But with cards, how quickly could they get those cards graded with AI?
Yeah, but so I mean that's an interesting one because with that, wouldn't they need a big model to be able to educate? Like they've got to have
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
so
And of course, you've got quality assurance where someone would have to go and check to see if the
yeah,
AI is right.
yeah,
Just
yeah. So
duplicating the processor with it.
yeah, exactly. It's not if the data set's rich enough, perfect. Yeah, like the irony is the first comic that they'll probably do that on will be Amazing Spider-Man 300
Oh yeah,
because there is enough data points for them to be able to do
oh
it.
yeah. This one of the most graded books in history, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. We've got Jonathan Medic in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you, buddy. ABZ Comics has asked the question: do you use something like Stackery to get better postage options? Do you?
No, I just pay it.
Oh, do
Well,
you?
actually, tell a lie. I actually have a storage locker in the US. I use Ship It To, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, and essentially, stuff gets shipped there, and I'll ship it back. Or I've got a couple of dealers that I deal with directly, and we stack them into
Oh, you
like
do stack,
decent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got, I had a Stackery come the other day, where there was a comic that I wanted, but they didn't do to the UK. So,
yeah,
I mean, so it was free delivery somewhere in the US. So I used my Stackery address and then
yeah.
so Stackery becomes a little bit expensive if you have multiple things to be consolidated because they charge,
Yes.
I think it's like $2 per item, but then the weight of the package increases, with the but it just to forward it on, it's like $20. They
Yeah.
just slap a new label on the front and they ship it straight out. So quick.
Stackery's like basically Ship It To, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Yeah, you can just do it. Yeah, I mean, I do use them occasionally.
And
But
it's in a tax-free location, so you don't, yeah,
oh, is that what? So mine's not. So
Oh.
yeah, mine's not. So because I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart sometimes. I just
Ah.
stick with one thing and go with it. So, um, interestingly on that as well, I do pick them up. Well, when I go out to the
Oh, of
US.
course, yeah. That's a good
So
idea.
you can consolidate to a location and then go to the location and pick it up.
Mhm. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Gemma's asked our thoughts on AI grading, but we already spoke about that. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Um, so next question. We kind of covered that really with the. Uh, do you find that I mean, we talk about community in the Australian side of things.
Mm.
The pool is very small for in terms of for YouTube. So you've got Mad Spidey and Omnibo who you mentioned.
Yep.
It's kind of similar here in the UK. We don't really have many UK comic book YouTubers.
Mm.
I think during the pandemic we had a fair few, but so my voice is going. I've got
No
a
worries.
tick off on it. But do you find you gravitate towards each other because obviously you're all in the same location, or
We're all at the same events. Is
yes,
probably when that's when it really comes to light. So yeah, that's when that's the most obvious thing.
yeah,
Um, and it's nice because everyone. And the good thing is that we're all very friendly and all get on and try and help each other out as well, which is the other thing. It's like it's not like I recently Simple Simon is another one, right? And I recently took his books to WonderCon so that he'd get his first CGC submission.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit more like that. Like, well, we just stick together. You know, I know that all the Simons over there, they get together for dinner, etc.
Yeah.
And sometimes go on a Comic-Con. So it's more that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Are there are there any particular characters or that like the UK had like Captain Britain, for instance?
Yeah.
Is there anything like that for Australia or anything like that that's ever been alluded to? Or
Again, I'm not. So I've been here 17 years, but still haven't delved too deep into the Australian comic culture.
yeah,
It doesn't. It's one of those ones where I'm still very much, even though I'm based in Australia, I'm still like very focused on the UK
of course.
side of it.
Yeah,
So when you say Captain Britain, my ears light up, right?
of course.
Because I'm like, that's my guy, right? If I was one hero, that would be the hero that I'd gravitate to the most, right?
Oh,
Because I
cool.
just think that's a great character, represents, the magic side, but in a superhero form. You
Yeah,
there is a couple of there are a lot of Australian comic books, and there's even, I can't remember Martin I can't remember his channel now. He does his own. He's actually self-publishes his own
oh, okay, cool.
comic book over here.
Yeah,
And yeah, so he's got his own sort of the Captain Wombat or something like that. I can't remember then.
oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. Cool.
So we do have our own sort of superheroes, but they're very like indie small press that I'm aware
Yeah,
of, and I don't have enough. But honestly, it's one of those areas I keep trying to avoid
yeah.
until
So in terms of then the you've got Australia, America, and the United
Mhm.
Kingdom.
Yeah.
What is Hero Con your favorite con, or is it San Diego or the London Film and Comic Con or whatever that is, the biggest one, isn't it? Or
So
is
I
it?
liked. I mean, each one is different for a different reason, right?
Yeah,
Like I really enjoyed. I really enjoy Heroes. Like it is, the fact that I'm actually making a special trip for that one, right? That is like
yeah.
I'm not tacking that on
You're
to
not tacking
anything
on
else.
to work or anything like that, or
Yeah, like
holiday.
that is like I'm going regardless. But it's like I reckon I could probably do the same thing for New York Comic. I've been to New York Comic Con a few times. Love that one.
Yeah,
Emerald City, I used to love it years ago, back in the mid 2010s, right? Like 2015. It
yeah.
was fantastic back then. Terrible now. Wouldn't go back again.
Okay.
Done San Diego Comic Con once, and I enjoyed it for what it is, but I didn't think it was a great con. It's a great entertainment convention.
Yeah,
It's
because you've
not
got all the
necessarily a great.
celebrities and everything going there.
Yeah. So I'd be taking like something like a Baltimore Comic Con or a New York Comic Con or Heroes Con or Terrific Con
Yeah,
um, as more of the cons that I like to go to, because they are more comic book focused than say an entertainment con.
yeah, yeah. Right, let me just jump in. There were some questions. Dave, what are your thoughts on UK comic free gifts? I get a bit obsessed and will always aim to pick up copies with the stickers, badges, sweets, etc. attached. Makes it a challenge to grade, though. Oh
It
man,
is. It is. This is. I love the free gifts. The UK free gifts are the things that just make the comic. Like, I agree with Triple G. Right? That's how I hunt for them. I
yeah,
specifically seek out the copies with the free gifts in them. Right? because otherwise it's not the same book.
Yeah.
And yes, it makes it difficult for grading, but it's an important part of that book,
Yeah.
right? Like, I hate the fact with 2000 AD Prog 1, you have to remove the space spinner, which is attached by tape,
To get
to get that
graded.
book graded,
That's
right?
crazy, man. That's
So
crazy.
I with some of them, I just leave them there, right? Like, I won't get them graded. I just won't. It's easy with stickers. Stickers are fine, right?
Yeah.
Because they can grade the book with the stickers in. Captain Britain's a good example too. You
Oh, the
can
mask.
the mask insert. You just leave it in. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's when you've got these like suites that Triple G talks about, right? You can't grade with that suite, and you have to tear it off.
Yeah.
And that generally leaves us. You know, you got a tape pull, and
Well,
that's why these books don't grade highly. So the other one is Secret Wars. There's these little fantastic Secret Wars UK editions that have badges. And there's no way I'm going to get these graded. I'm just going to keep them raw, enjoy them as they are because they're beautiful. Yeah, those ones. Yeah,
that's a pretty cool cover, actually.
yeah. I mean, that's something else that I love. You get the US copy next alongside to the UK one. They're just
It's like
beautiful.
that. I can't remember what the issue number is, but the Secret Wars 8, the UK version. That one just really stands out. Like the cover stands out. I know it's like a bit bigger, but it's one of my favorites.
I think it's zoomed in as well, which is the other thing. So you actually get that Spider-Man, the actual Spider-Man figure is so much bigger to your point.
Yeah.
And it really pops, especially when you put it next to the original.
Of course, yeah. And then and this is what we've been talking about, the free gifts. This is on like the first appearance of Bane, but in a UK comic format. Free.
If you give me a sec, I'll find. I've got another one to show you, which is I've got a whole bunch going to CGC.
Oh, cool.
And there's some really interesting free gifts. Just give me one sec.
No worries, bud. I will fill the dead air. I'll check the chat, see if anyone's said anything. We've got Dave from the West Coast Devengers. How you doing, buddy? We've been talking UK comics. And in fact, we've actually been talking about the Nottingham Hill Book Exchange, which I know you went to, Dave. But yeah, appreciate you coming on. What we got then? I'll make you big.
All right. Let's start with the big boy book.
Oh yes. Nice.
So that's going in for grading.
So you've managed. Is that something free inside? So that doesn't matter about the.
Well, that will sit once it's pressed. It's going to get cleaned and pressed, but then it's going to get the insert reinserted.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that, like with the tattoos from Spider-Man 238 and the mask from Captain Britain. You can just reinsert them, can't you?
Yeah, well, this was loose. They were always loose in the issue, so it's not like reinsertion. You just put it back in the middle of the book, realistically.
That's cool.
My favorite, and this is probably one good for Triple G, is this Spider-Man Comics Weekly issue 1.
Oh, cool!
Right,
nice.
With the free gift.
Was that a poster?
A Spider-Man mask.
A mask,
which is basically a paper bag with holes in it.
That would not pass any health and safety thing.
So the funny thing about it is that there's a issue with Spider-Man where it's the Spider-Man paper bag issue, right? As well,
the Fantastic.
So I always find that interesting, whether or not they're taking
the mick.
But yeah, that's another one. And then my favorite as well is Mighty World of Marvel issue 1.
Oh, cool.
Which has this incredible Hulk transfer.
Wow.
Which has not been transferred onto a t-shirt. So
that's cool.
Which is Jack Kirby. So
nice.
But the free gifts are just fantastic from just any UK book. It was like just a tradition. Like you get action transfers for Transformers, for instance. Or a poster, or you name it. That one.
Looks cool, that cover does.
Yeah, again, this is the other one. I really like the Transformers title in the UK because they did have original stories
Yeah,
in this book and then original art. So again, it's another one of these, the first Transformers in comics in the UK.
that's cool.
Um,
Did you are you aware of the complete Spider-Man, which is like the Todd McFarlane cover, like purple.
I've
It came with like a free Venom patch.
no.
No. So I think it's obviously like 1992 or something like that. But they did like a thick complete Spider-Man. It had like a few issues of Spider-Man inside, but they
Yeah.
were sellotape to the front of it is a
Patch.
a Venom patch, and they're all got Venom on them. And I think that I have the only copy that I've ever seen. It's got a Ghostbusters patch on it.
Oh wow.
So it's almost as if like they've gone, oh, we've run out of this Venom patch, just put a Ghostbuster one on
I'll put
there.
a Ghostbusters one on there.
So
Yeah, I've seen them make a few hiccups like that where they'll reuse gifts.
oh yeah.
But the Space Spinner on 2000 AD was used on multiple books at different times.
Wow.
So there's a white on 2000 AD is red. There's a blue one. There's a white one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the yeah,
I'll send you the I'll send you the link for that video where I went for that collection where they had like 2000 AD and Dandy and Beano. A lot
yeah.
of the sweets were still attached.
Still, I've got some on mine on my 2000 AD collection. I've got Hubba Bubbas,
Yeah. For
just a whole bunch
refreshers,
of
stuff
sweets
like
still
that.
stuck onto this cover, and
But
I'm not gonna remove them. I'm leaving them on there because that's to find them with those things still on is impossible.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I didn't really have a pleasant experience going through them because they were like sticky or they leaked, like,
or the leaked,
and
yeah.
they're all over the place. And like, some things just completely disintegrated. Like it was it, and you think this stuff's going in your body. Do you know what I mean? What are we
Yeah.
putting in these sweets?
The
Uh,
ones I really liked were the sticker albums
oh
that we
yeah,
used to get. So you'd
yeah,
get a sticker album, one issue, and then over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'd get an additional pack for the sticker album.
yeah.
So it was like crack for kids, right?
Of
Like they're,
course,
oh, I need more of these stickers.
yeah. Yeah. So have you got the original Secret Wars album? You got that?
Yes,
Yeah, that's cool.
5 stickers away from completing it.
Oh man, have you seen how much a sticker pack goes for?
I have.
Right.
I've been trying to get one. So I buy them loose when I see them.
Mm.
Um, and I've been trying to get a box. I had an opportunity to buy a box once, and the seller on eBay pulled out. Like just
Uh,
the classic. Didn't want to do it when they had bad seller's remorse.
ah,
Um,
that sucks. That absolutely sucks.
yeah,
Um, Joe has said that. Well, West Coast Avengers has said that I love my UK books.
he does.
Um,
And
Joe,
Dave's helping me out with another task of mine,
oh, is he? He's an
which
awesome
is
dad.
yeah, he's fantastic. He's helping me out with still only 35 cents issues. That's another one of my. I'm trying to get the entire 1978 period, every single book that was ever published with a still only 35 cents on it.
That's
And
awesome.
it's there's a lot of book. I've got 75 still to go.
Well, I'll tell you something now about Dave. He comes across some of these incredible collections and
He
what he
does.
finds in them. It's amazing. And he did a video maybe a few weeks back where his thumbnail was $1,500 on this collection or whatever, and someone had left a comment on it saying the no transparency. You've not like how much have you bought these comics for? Like you just he's like it's in the thumbnail. I'm like what are you going on about? What are you going on about? Um, but yeah, right. Captain UK has said that I bought a Dandy issue number 2 a few years ago that still had the wrapper stuck to it from the sweet free. the free suite back in the 30s. Is that when? Is that true?
Yeah, Dandy and Beano started very early.
Oh gosh, right. I hate it when somebody comes to me and goes, "I've got some comics. Can you check this out? What can you let me know?" And it's Dandy and Beano. I'm
Dandy and
like,
Beano.
they are
Yeah.
not comics to me. I don't know what those are kids' books. I don't know what they are.
I mean, I used to read them when I was a kid, but I don't. They're
You
not
would
in my mind a comic.
no.
Well, they're not. Yeah. Well, they are a comic, but they're not. They're not a superhero comic, which is where I'm at.
Yeah. I really love Dave. I really love the UK hardcover annuals. We have nothing like that here. There's got some great ones. There's like a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man one, which is really cool.
Oh, mate, I
That's pretty,
love the Marvel annual, the UK ones.
well,
They're so
look at that.
good.
That's so cool.
Right.
It wouldn't be Christmas or birthday. Well, especially
Without one of these.
without
Yeah,
somebody getting you an annual.
these were so good.
Do you know what
This
really?
is not my era though, but this is like I think this is 1970.
That looks pretty cool. Pretty
But
cool.
yeah, I went back and picked all of the Marvel annuals up. But yeah, they're so good.
I've just spotted you've got the Golden Records reprint of
I do.
Mystery. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I bought that at Heroes, not Heroes, WonderCon. A dealer
Wow,
had it,
that's
and
nice.
it's fully sealed,
Oh wow.
and the issues in like you could crack that and get it graded, but I'm like I'm just keep it. I much prefer to keep it in its original state like that.
Yeah, it's nice. That is really nice.
So I don't have a journey into mystery other than this one.
Yeah, still no, but it's still a great piece of history to own. Awesome.
I was toying with getting the record graded
Oh, okay.
rather than the comic, with the comic inside, and that was my other idea.
That might be the way forward.
Because it's still sealed, right? You don't want to
Yeah, of
necessarily.
course.
Yeah.
Dave says, wait until you see this weekend's video, a massive bronze and silver age collection. Nice. That's awesome. Captain UK says he has to disagree. The books like Dandy, Beano, and Wizard, etc., are a massive part of comic history. Yep, no, 100%. I agree with that. It's just that those aren't the books that I grew up interested in. That's all. There's no disrespect to them.
I love that. I love them for what they are, and I can definitely see how people appreciate them.
I think if you can get like a Beano issue #1 and stuff, like wow. But yeah, right.
I like Banana Man.
Banana Man, yeah. Classic.
But I don't think he was in. Was he in Dandy or was he?
He was in one of them. It was definitely in one of them. Dennis the Menace was Beano, wasn't it? And then yeah. So we kind of come to like the last question, Dave. We've been on for 2 hours, which is really good.
Wow.
So
I'm surprised my camera hasn't died.
no, I was about to say that. You did mention before we went live that your camera might die, but my last question really is Mighty Lawrence from Mighty Comics and Collectibles asked it really early, but it is what's your plan for the YouTube in the long term? So what is your goals for still only 35 cents? What do you want to achieve?
Just keep doing the same stuff. Like I'm going to be telling more stories. I'm very much keen to lean into the history of books, and I'm trying to find more and more unusual stories to tell. Right. I'm really starting to get into ephemera. So, signatures, creators. So I want to tell stories, show off books, but much more I'll be leaning into the story piece, and how things I do might help other people in the hobby, right?
Yeah, it's good. No.
Because I think that's what's useful. I see us as I see the channel evolving into this like a way of maintaining the stories of those creators and the comics that exist out there. It's particularly vintage stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And as long as you're providing that, information that's helping people, like it'll be forever useful for people because if they're searching for stuff on YouTube or Google, it's going to come up.
Yeah. And you'll see a lot more of that. That's the plan long term for the channel, is to move, to really pivot into that hard and tell those stories, because they deserve to be told
100%.
or preserved.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention this earlier, to be fair, but how does it feel being the 2024 best new channel on the Comic Book Community Awards?
It uh, unexpected.
Unexpected.
Yeah. I was, I mean, deep down, I was like, I'd love to win it,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect to win it. Right.
Yeah.
And I was working hard to make it was less about the awards. It was more about the fact that it was just an honor to even be thought about. And out of that group as well, I've met, like Hagen from Lettuce Comics. We've become firm friends. Right.
Yeah.
And they're all great competitors and people up there as well. So Nine Panel Grid's another one, right? Like, his editing is off the charts, right?
Yeah.
So it's just an honor, and to win it was just, I was super stoked.
No, congratulations! It's a big achievement, because to be recognised by your peers, especially, it's nice being.
Especially as I'd only just this is the other thing. I'd only just started, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was, still learning the craft, and I still am. I think we all still learning the craft in terms of how you build these channels and make it work. Find your niche.
Yeah, it's certainly not easy.
Yeah.
We got Cliff from Cliff on Comics. Thank you so much for joining us, Cliff. Really appreciate it, buddy. Rich from Untold Comics says, in the midnight hour, she cried more.
Yeah.
It's we've hit midnight. No, but I really appreciate you coming on, Dave. I know it's is it 9 a.m. for you there at the moment?
It's 9 a.m. I feel for you, my friend, at midnight.
No, to be fair, I feel for you, because you pretty much, I'm guessing you woke up and came straight onto the stream.
6 o'clock on a Saturday morning for you.
Is this?
No, it's all good. No,
I appreciate it.
I love it. It's been fantastic and great to hang out with you, because I know I've seen you so many times on shows, and
yeah, I've seen you on so many things and watched your videos. It's great to finally hang out, and a fellow Midlander. It's awesome to hang out. But if you guys, I'm pretty, we're in the same space. But if you don't subscribe to Dave's channel, still only 35 cents, please go and check it out. I highly recommend his content. It is well edited. It's informative. It's slick, and it's just a great guy, buddy. So thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you all the best for your channel. And I hope you have a great time at Heroes Con. I would love to, next year, once all the house is sorted, I would love to go out there if I can, and come meet you all. It'd be a bit.
You'd love it. You'd love it. It's fantastic.
But no, I really appreciate everybody watching. Moderators, JSS Brooklyn, Mike, Cecilia, Gemma, Mac, you've all been fantastic as usual. And if you guys are interested in voting in the awards for the Comic Book Community Awards, please go and vote for the people that you think are the most deserving. And there's some really good channels out there. It's kind of no, I was gonna say it. It's kind of it's good to see it for, like, it's kind of really based on like new smaller channels this year.
Yes.
It seems the format for me. So like when I filled out mine, I had to go and like dig deep into my subscriptions to see how many, because sometimes you don't realize how many subscribers people have got.
Yeah.
So it's great to find some channels that I really enjoy where they fitted into certain categories. So yeah, please go and do that. And no, you've been a great guest, and the chat, you've been great as useful as ever. The link for thank you JSS for Dave's channel is there, and yeah, and the link for the Comic Book Community Awards is here as well. Thanks, Mike. Let's get this off. Let's get this on. Clicked it too many times, but no, yeah. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Dave, I'd love to have you on again at some point in the channel, and we won't necessarily be an interview, but we'll just talk UK comics or something like that, or
Love it.
We'll get Pete on, and we'll just have a UK thing going. But I appreciate it.
Love to do that. Like, yeah, I don't get enough chance to talk to someone else in the UK about this because I'm probably feel like the lonely voice sometimes.
Yeah. To be fair, Mike did comment to say that Transformers cover was pretty cool. Mike, I will keep an eye out for some British UK comic mags or mag comic, and I'll send some across to you, buddy. But no, appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you guys next time. And we'll play the outro, but see you later. Bye bye.